Remember, it's tools, not rules, that will help you to traverse the road and take the journey to real-life love. Fairy tales may not come true, but the magic of true connection outshines even the best of fantasies. I did it, so can you. Hi, I'm Dr. Bonnie Eaker Weil, also known as Dr. Bonnie. I'm a couples therapist who specializes in helping you get your feelings back. Don't break up, make up, and rekindle your romance. After the honeymoon dies down, you have to recreate those loving feelings to fall back in love. Why are relationships so complicated? Because we pick a person who gives us the most trouble. This is called the imago. Across a crowded room, you will pick someone unconsciously who is a composite image of the positive and negative traits of your parents. And guess what's the strongest part of the attraction? The negative traits. So Mother Nature set it up so the person that we pick can help us grow by challenging us. You're picking somebody who is going to be different than you and going to challenge you, so it makes for a very exciting relationship, but it also goes into a power struggle after the honeymoon dies down. The negative traits that are the strongest part of the attraction don't bother us in the beginning, in the honeymoon stage, because the hormones are keeping us safe and doing the work. After the honeymoon dies down, which is after 18 months, the power struggle comes in, and that's when the traits that you originally were attracted to get to you and you start finding fault with your partner. Well, in the power struggle stage, you need to rev up those hormones until the cuddle hormones catch up. That means using what I call attachment skills. Attachment skills get the cuddle hormone oxytocin going, such as snuggling, kissing, hugging, dancing, and touching. These will increase those hormones so you will have a honeymoon from time to time, but you need to work at that, such as play dates, weekly, spending time with each other, not dealing with the children all the time, keeping that separate, not working all the time and not making time for your partner. Verbal aphrodisiacs is something that I recommend, which is 30 seconds of saying something nice to your partner twice a day. Remember that rituals maintain connection and reaffirm memories. That's why rituals are so important. I'm suggesting mini connections. How many of you out there make time in the morning to say goodbye to your partner? Or when they come home? How many of you eat together? Most couples spend 10 minutes a week together. I'm advocating 10 minutes a day. You talk for 10 minutes a day, not on the phone, person to person. Snuggling twice a day, in the morning when you wake up, even if one of you is still sleeping. Snuggling at night before you go to bed. Don't talk during the day by phone because it's an intimacy blocker. It prevents you from making time at night to either have dinner together or to sit and talk together. Put your relationship first. Just like when you're saving money, you pay yourself first. Put your relationship and sex first. Sex should not be a last priority. It should be the first. Children should not be first. Your relationship should be first. Work should not be first. Your relationship should be first. When I was on the Today Show, Katie Couric and I talked about how important the 30-second kiss is. And I'm actually going to have all of you do the 30-second kiss now, and I'll tell you when to stop. And how did that feel? And now you're in the position to have an affair with your own partner. After the hormones die down in the honeymoon stage, love becomes a conscious decision. It's an intentional decision to be monogamous. Now that you've mastered the 30-second kiss, and you're eating dinner together, and you're going to sleep together, now I want you to master the fair fight. Yes, the fair fight is necessary because it takes the place of the safety of the hormones in the infatuation stage. So I'll walk you through it. We're going to start now. I'm going to ask you both to put on emotional bulletproof vests. And what that means is you don't defend yourself, you don't criticize, and you don't take offense, and you don't get hurt or angry by what you hear. That's why communication is so difficult. You'll always hear couples say, oh, we just don't communicate. You have to communicate in a safe manner because you don't have those hormones that we have in the honeymoon stage. So since you're in the power struggle stage, I ask you to please not use a tone of voice that isn't nice, and I want you to respect what the other person is saying. One person talks at a time with the vests on. Whoever is giving the dialogue, the other one listens. This is Fighting Fairly with Ruby and Cliff. We're here to learn how to fight fairly the right way and also the wrong way. I want you to fight the same way you do at home. Okay? No holes barred. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go.
Ruby, here you go again. There's nothing here for me to eat. You know, I'm getting sick and tired of it.
Cliff, I told you the other day that they sell food to men at the supermarket also.
That wasn't our. That was not our agreement when we got married.
That was a long time ago.
No,
children are grown.
No.
I'm not going to sit here and cook every day.
But you'll cook for anybody else to come in this damn house. You'll cook for them. What the hell with that?
I'm not going to sit here and cook every day when you can get up and go also. We don't have children anymore. We need to just be able to.
But the deal was, I don't mind cooking, but I'm not going food shopping.
No, you just want me here every day. That's all you do.
I don't care if you're here every day.
And instead of my being able to do what I want to do.
It's either you or your family's here. You know what I'm saying? You get about sick and tired of that.
What's wrong with my family?
Every damn time the bell rings, it's your family. And what happens? You bring out something for them to eat. But I'm home, I get nothing to eat.
Okay, cut. See, this is exactly what I don't want you to do. Now let's go back to the way I taught you before. Okay, so Cliff. Now I want to have Cliff, though. I could see you were getting agitated. I could see that your heart was, I didn't see it, but I could tell your heart was pounding. Your palms are sweating. You're starting to get like maybe a stomach ache. That's possible. Okay, so I'm going to let you have a timeout because men can only take approximately 30 seconds before they really can handle women's emotionality. They're allergic to women's emotionality. So we're going to let you leave for a second and take a little time out. Okay, so you can get yourself all kind of. Men have physiological discomfort when there's confrontation or conflict. Women, on the other hand, love to be able to discuss a conflict. What I'm asking you to do is to connect, reconnect, and disconnect. Meaning that if the man has to disconnect, he has to announce it. He can't just disconnect. And if he announces it, he has to tell you when he's going to reconnect. If he's going to take time out from a fight, he has to come back within 24 hours verbally and tell you what he thinks. If he doesn't know, he still has to say, I have to think about it. Okay, so now you're going to look at Ruby, and you're going to come up with 3 behavior changes that you want her to do. And I just gave you an example of 1. If you like that, fine. Otherwise, you can do your own 3. And Ruby, this is not a bargaining basement, so you're not allowed to bargain with him. You have to pick at least 1 and up to 3, and you can't compromise and change them. Okay? And if we have time, then what we would do is then you would have a chance to go. So he would put the bulletproof vest on, you would go, and then he would do the same thing. Okay?
Ruby, one thing I would like you to do is to make sure that I have food in the house. And the second thing I would like you to do is stop coming in the house calling my name. And the third thing I would like you to do, okay, is to stop asking me to come to church every Sunday.
Okay, no, I'm glad you did that. That's not allowed. Each dialogue has different behavior changes, so you need 3 dialogues, and that's fine, but just stick to the topic. Do you follow me? Now, you can have a dialogue about church, and then you could have another dialogue about the name that she called you, or whatever is going on, right? But stick to the food. So the first thing you were asking her is to put food in the house.
Put food in the house.
And I suggested, do you like my suggestion that you want her to cook for you once a week?
More than once a week.
Okay, good, go for it.
Ruby, I would like you to cook for me at least 5 days a week.
I think we got to lower that a little bit, or lower our expectations so we can get what we want. That's just my suggestion.
3.5 days.
Good, perfect. Okay, so 3.5 days.
3.5 days. Okay, and the third thing is to stop giving my food out to everybody.
Okay, perfect. Now, this is what we do with the behavior changes. Ruby, you're going to, we call this mirror or echo. You're going to echo or mirror back what you heard him say. Keep your vest on tight so you're not going to make any kind of shame and blame or any kind of defensiveness or attacking him. I want you to not show any judgment so that he thinks it's okay to ask for those things. In other words, we're trying to create safety. Remember we said, if you fight fairly, you create safety. And guess what safety gives us? Passion. You can't have passion unless you have safety. And you can't have passion without fighting because you need a little conflict and tension to make the relationship exciting. Okay? So, put the vest on, respectfully back, echo back the 3 things you heard, and tell us which one you can do. Up to 3, you must pick at least one.
Okay, Cliff, I hear what you're saying is that if I, number 1, make sure that there's food in the house, that would make you feel better. Number 2, you said that you would like me to cook at least 3.5 times a week. And the third one is that you wanted me to stop giving food away.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if I had to choose one of those, I think I'd choose number 1, that I can make sure that there's food in the house.
Okay, good. Now I'm just going to ask you if you could stretch a little more. That's perfect. You only have to do 1, but remember what I said, that the thing that your partner wants the most from you is the hardest to give the person. So the more you can do, the better the relationship is. So can you stretch? This is called stretching. Stretching is, I don't want to do something, but I'm doing it to please you, and when I please you, I feel good because you feel good. Where else could you stretch?
I think that I could stretch in cooking and making sure that there's a dinner 3.5 times a week by maybe cooking twice and having leftovers one day.
Oh, that's fabulous. Now you see, Cliff, she really stretched. Now you went from her not cooking at all to her cooking. She gave you almost what you wanted, which was the 2 days, and then the third would be a little leftover. So now I want you to thank her so that you give her what we call behavior modification, which is what we do with children. You're rewarding her for her good behavior so she continues this, and have that smile on your face instead of a disappointment because you didn't get everything. You got almost everything. So look at her and thank her.
Ruby, thank you.
And let's have some hug now. Now,
All right, that's good.
this is
We can do
great,
this.
guys. You did great. Remember, when you fight, it creates passion and conflict and tension, which is excitement. I love what my husband invented. He invented dancing me around the room after we have a fight. And then we have fun, we laugh, we joke, and then we cuddle. So high energy play after the fight to rev those hormones up. Also, it's very important on a daily basis when you're doing the Smart Heart Talks to walk in the other person's shoes and to validate their feelings, not just your own. I'm very excited about my revolutionary theory called the biochemical craving for connection. Emptiness is passed down from generation to generation. It's a physiological and an emotional emptiness. Adultery is not about a character flaw. It is about wanting to feel better, to self-medicate, to get a high. And when we have sex, oxytocin, which is a cuddle hormone, is emitted and makes the adulterer feel really good. It's the same chemicals that we feel when we're happy or when we first fall in love. In most of my patients' cases, when their chemicals are balanced, as an example, serotonin and dopamine, they then can fall back in love with their partner. Dopamine is the molecule of joy, of reward and satisfaction. These are most of my patients that are burned out, that work on Wall Street, and have what we call midlife crisis. It's not really midlife crisis, it's burnout. They've been burning out since they were little, and then it comes to a crescendo. The good news is that if you treat this correctly, and you take a test to see what your levels of norepinephrine, epinephrine, histamine, serotonin, and dopamine, which are the brain chemicals that we need to make ourselves feel good, you don't have to have an affair. You can actually have an affair with your own partner. This is really amazing to see people having an affair with their own partner and saving their marriage instead of getting divorced or continuing to commit adultery. Many of my patients come to me to try to save their relationship. 98% of my patients make up and don't break up using Smart Heart skills and dialogue. Let's take a look at some Smart Heart skills to restore the magic and repair the relationship.
I know this is going to get better if I talk to you. You're terrific and I know you can help me. I need to know you feel remorse so we can work through this. I want to give you a chance to express everything you still feel guilty about so we can both work on getting over it and I can stop being angry.
I love you. I will not act out. I will share my remorse. I will not take it for granted or make the same mistakes again. What do you need me to do to show you that I love you and I'm truly sorry?
Anger, guilt, and grudges destroy love because they bury the relationship debris. With Smart Heart skills and dialogue, you open up the relationship debris and you have a chance to heal. This couple will use Smart Heart dialogue for the brush with death, setting a time to be apart, time limited with permission, with the help of a therapist like myself.
I need some time to myself to sort out my feelings. I'm not sure I love you. I feel so criticized and controlled. I need time to see if I want to be married. I've lost who I am.
I love you enough to let you go. I'll work on not being so controlling and critical. I felt very lonely for years. You probably don't realize this, but the kids always come first. And I miss you so much. I get critical when I feel abandoned. And of course, that makes you abandon me more.
I wish I could feel the way I used to feel about you. Give me some time and let's get some help. But I can't promise anything.
The origin of my Smart Heart skills and dialogue actually came from the relationship with my husband, Jeff.
I didn't know we were living together. We were seeing each other every night for a year, but I never left anything behind, not even a toothbrush.
Well, that's how his Smart Heart started, because you remember when you said, we're living together, and I said, we're not? Because of that confusion of not being able to define our relationship, that's when Smart Heart skills and dialogue were born.
I used to leave at 6 o'clock on Sunday nights. I couldn't wait to get out of there. I had had enough closeness. Bonnie and I sat down and talked about it, and I found out that I had a suffocation wound and she had an abandonment wound. And the only way to get around it was to discuss it with the Smart Heart dialogue and skills.
And that's when I realized I wanted to marry you, because you figured out a way for you to get your space and me to get the closeness by going together in your house. You would go through your mail and look at your reports, and I would sit and watch TV, and then later you would have dinner with me. And that's how we worked it out. And that's actually when we started to use the Smart Heart dialogue and skills. We didn't realize we were even doing it at that time. The pumpkin syndrome is a syndrome that most of my patients can identify with if they're pursuers and they have abandonment issues. The distancer is looking to get his space on a Sunday night after a long weekend of closeness. Relationships are at risk when there are grudges, contempt, criticism, and invalidation. One of the biggest reasons for divorce is invalidating someone. I mean, not walking in someone else's shoes. Dr. Bonnie's divorce meter. Should you stay or should you go? Do you want to be right so you don't have to forgive? Do you hold grudges? Do other people in your family hold grudges? Is your inability to let go of your anger a sign you want to divorce? Is your hurt too deep to forgive? Are you using divorce to escape your feelings of emptiness? 50% of first marriages end in divorce. 60% of second marriages end in divorce. 7 out of 10 third marriages end in divorce. You need to leave if it's an abusive relationship, either emotionally or physically. If somebody has a chemical imbalance and refuses help, the person is selfish, takes you for granted, and will not change. If someone is going to someone else, you want to use the Smart Heart dialogue to let them go, but explain that it's going to dilute the relationship. So you're doing the Smart Heart dialogue now. I know that you really love her, but you know she's going to someone else. So you want to push her to him so that hopefully she comes back.
Okay.
So why don't you give the Smart Heart dialogue a chance? Pretend you're talking to her now. She's here in the room with us. What are you saying to her?
I'm not waiting. You can't have us both.
Okay. Now that's a little strong. I want you to make her accountable. I want you to be firm and let her know you're not waiting. But I also want to make it so that she wants to come back to you. So you have to be a little softer. You have to let her know you're fighting for the relationship and you have confidence in her and that you want to make it work with her, but you're willing to let her go if that's what she wants. Got it?
Mm-hmm. I'm not waiting. You can't have us both.
Perfect. That's Smart Heart dialogue. I hope you can see the love, courage, and journey that my parents handed down to me and what my husband and I picked up on. These Smart Heart skills and dialogue have given us so much love, and I know that they will do the same for you.